morning. You're listening to The Brief Wake Up, your mindful start to the day. I'm Handel, your daily coffee companion, helping you wake up informed, thoughtful, and maybe a little bit more amused before the day gets old. If you're commuting, corralling kids, or just standing in line for caffeine, you're in the right place. Let's get you caught up. Let's start with what's important. Our health, restoring what we lose, the rise of sensory-enhancing implants today on the health front. We're talking about a breakthrough that feels both futuristic and deeply human. Implanted chips designed to restore senses we once thought were gone for good. Let's start with vision, specifically age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. It's one of the leading causes of vision loss in older adults. And for years, treatment has mostly been about slowing the decline, not reversing it. But that's changing. Researchers have developed retinal microchips that act almost like a digital patch behind the retina. These chips sense incoming light, convert it to electrical signals, and pass those signals to the brain through the optic nerve. In early clinical trials, patients who were nearly blind from AMD started detecting motion, letters, even faces again. One patient described it as seeing the world through a soft, pixelated window, but definitely seeing. It's not perfect vision, but it's the first step toward building an artificial retina that works with the remaining healthy visual circuits. But sight is just the beginning. We're also seeing major progress in restoring hearing. Cochlear implants aren't new, but what they can do today is on a different level. Modern implants use advanced sound processors that break down speech into fine frequency components, making it easier to distinguish voices in a crowded room, something that used to be almost impossible. Some devices now pair with apps to fine-tune sound settings on the fly, and early versions of fully implantable systems with no external hardware yet are now being tested, and new frontiers are opening in other senses too. Vestibular implants are helping patients with chronic balance disorders stand and walk without falling, a life-changing shift for conditions that previously had no fix. Olfactory implants are in development for people who lost their sense of smell. Something we learned during COVID can deeply affect quality of life. And for amputees, neural touch interfaces allow prosthetic limbs to feel again. Sensors in the hand send electrical signals to nerves in the arm, letting users sense pressure, temperature, or texture. Imagine picking up a cup and actually feeling it. That's happening right now in research labs. What ties all of these technologies together is one powerful idea. Instead of repairing the damaged cells themselves, we're learning to send the signal another way, bypassing the damage and going straight to the nervous system, or even directly to the brain. It's not mainstream yet. These implants are expensive, highly specialized, and mostly available in research settings. But the direction is undeniable. Medicine is shifting from slowing decline to restoring function, and possibly enhancing it in the future. For millions living with vision loss, hearing loss, balance disorders, or limb differences, this isn't just science, it's hope. And it's arriving faster than most people realize. Now on to the news. Jamaica after Hurricane Melissa, the long road ahead. This morning, we turn our attention back to Jamaica, because even as global headlines move on, the story on the ground is just beginning. Hurricane Melissa, a historic Category 5 storm, tore across the island last week, and its aftermath is still unfolding in real time. Melissa made landfall in Westmoreland, with winds near 185 miles per hour, carving a path of destruction that Jamaica hasn't seen in decades. Early estimates place the damage at nearly 30% of the country's entire GDP, a staggering figure for an island nation where hundreds of thousands depend on tourism, agriculture, and small local businesses to survive. Across Jamaica, More than 120,000 buildings suffered severe roof damage or total destruction. At least 600,000 people were affected, and dozens of communities, especially in the western parishes, remain difficult or impossible to reach due to washed-out bridges, landslides, and flooding. As of this week, about 2,500 Jamaicans are still in emergency shelters, and many more are living without power, stable water access, or reliable medical care. And this is where continued attention matters. After any major disaster, there's a surge of awareness in the first 48 hours. But when the cameras pull away, that's when the real struggle starts. Jamaica is now entering the long-term recovery phase, rebuilding homes, restoring utilities, reopening schools, and trying to revive local economies that were already stretched thin. Keeping the conversation alive ensures that resources, funding, and international support don't disappear. It also creates accountability because those walking miles for clean water or waiting for medication in cut-off communities can't afford to be forgotten once the news cycle shifts. There is help on the way. The United States has pledged emergency support. NGOs such as Direct Relief and the United Church of Christ have launched appeals for medical supplies, safe water, and shelter materials. Jamaican-led efforts like hometown fundraising groups and diaspora networks are stepping up to support specific parishes, families, and schools. If you'd like to be part of that effort, here are options. Support established relief organizations already operating on the ground. Donate to Jamaican-led initiatives, especially those focused on rebuilding schools, clinics, and housing. Spread awareness, share verified updates, and keep Jamaica in public conversation. And for those with technical or medical expertise, some NGOs are preparing volunteer rosters for the months ahead. Because recovery isn't just about rebuilding structures, it's about rebuilding lives, communities, and the sense of safety that storms like Melissa can take away. For tech and culture, are delivery apps changing restaurants for better or worse? You've probably tapped Order Again more times than you'd like to admit. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, all a few swipes away. But behind that convenience, something deeper is cooking in the restaurant world. Delivery platforms have exploded. Analysts estimate online ordering will make up nearly 40% of all US restaurant sales by 2025. What used to be an occasional Friday night splurge has become part of the weekly routine for restaurants. These apps opened the door to new customers and kept many afloat during the pandemic. A small cafe can suddenly reach hundreds of homes without adding a single chair. The data, the digital menus, the instant exposure, it all sounds great. But here's the flip side. Those same apps often take 15 to 30% in commissions. Margins shrink, and while your meal travels across town, control over quality, timing, and even the brand experience leaves the chef's hands. One study out of Stanford found that nearly half the new delivery revenue simply replaced dine-in sales, meaning restaurants aren't necessarily making more. They're just serving the same meals in takeout boxes. The industry is adapting. Ghost kitchens, delivery-only spaces with no dining room, are popping up everywhere. Menus are shorter, kitchens are optimized for speed, and the restaurants are redesigning entrances just for delivery drivers. Eating out is slowly becoming eating in. Culturally, it's a shift. We've traded the clinking of glasses for the buzz of a push notification. Food has joined the list of on-demand comforts like streaming or ride-sharing. Convenient, instant, and a little less communal. The next time your dinner arrives in 15 minutes flat, remember, that tap isn't just feeding you. It's rewriting how restaurants survive, how we connect over meals, and how technology keeps reshaping even the oldest ritual we have, breaking bread together. What's on table for our big sip? Topic: can you tell when someone's lying? We've all wondered it. That little voice in your head during a conversation. Are they telling me the truth? Whether it's a friend's excuse, a coworker's promise, or a politician's speech, the search for truth is one of our brain's oldest instincts. But here's the twist. Humans are surprisingly bad at catching liars. Studies show we're only accurate about 54% of the time, barely better than a coin toss. That's because there's no single Pinocchio cue. Lying isn't just one behavior, it's a cluster of small, subtle leaks. Still, there are a few reliable clues research highlights, if you know what to look for. Clue number 1, inconsistency. Truth is steady, lies wobble. A liar often struggles to keep details straight over time. Ask the same question in a slightly different way, and you'll notice small contradictions or a change in tone. That's often where the truth slips out. Clue number 2, cognitive load. Lying takes mental effort. People tend to pause more, use fewer gestures, or blink less when fabricating because their brain is juggling facts, fiction, and fear all at once. So when someone suddenly over-explains or freezes mid-sentence, it's not proof, but it's a signal. Now, how does this help in everyday life? Not by turning you into a human lie detector, but by making you a better listener. When you focus on patterns, not single moments, you start to notice authenticity instead of just deception. You'll spot when a story doesn't align, when someone's words don't match their tone, or when their truth is simply uncomfortable, not dishonest. And maybe that's the real takeaway. The goal isn't to catch lies, it's to understand truth better. Because the more calmly we listen, the less power deception actually has. That's your sip of psychology for the morning. A reminder that truth has a rhythm, and all you have to do is listen closely. What's on table today? For the lighter roast, how about therapy speak inflation and how it hinders relationships? You ever notice how we're living in the golden age of therapeutic vocabulary? We used to just say, I'm tired, or I'm not in the mood. Now everything is, I'm protecting my peace, I'm honoring my boundaries, or my personal favorite. I'm taking space to realign my nervous system. Don't get me wrong, real boundaries are healthy. But we've reached a point of therapy speak inflation, where the language that used to describe trauma, healing, and emotional growth is now being used to avoid washing dishes. We're out here diagnosing perfectly normal moments as clinical events. Someone disagrees with you. Their toxic partner asks you to take out the trash. I feel like my needs are being destabilized. Somebody texts twice. They're love bombing me. Twice. Back in the day, that was just called being interested. And here's where it gets messy. Therapy speak inflation is creeping into relationships like shrink wrap. Suddenly, every conflict becomes a psychology TED talk. You can't even argue naturally anymore. Everything needs a flowchart. You say, hey, it hurt my feelings when you canceled on me. They respond, I'm setting a boundary around emotional labor today. Ma'am, you just didn't feel like getting dressed. We're using powerful emotional tools with the intensity of buzzwords. But here's a twist. When everything becomes trauma, nothing gets resolved. When everyone's protecting their peace, nobody's building partnership. And when every minor conflict becomes a red flag, you run out of flags and out of relationships. Because a real relationship isn't built on perfectly curated self-care language. It's built on the unglamorous stuff. Listening when you don't want to, apologizing even when you're tired, and sometimes saying the simple, honest thing. I'm upset, but I'm not going anywhere. Therapy can heal. Self-awareness can grow you. But when every disagreement becomes a diagnostic event, you're not in a relationship anymore. You're in a vocabulary war. And love doesn't need all that. Sometimes love just needs two people willing to talk like people. How about our commemorations for November 7th? Today is November 7th, and we've got a mix of science, history, and a little sweetness to acknowledge. First up, National Cancer Awareness Day, observed across India. It's a reminder of something universal. Early detection saves lives. Screening, education, and awareness remain some of the strongest tools we have in the fight against cancer. It's also tied to the legacy of one of the greatest scientists of all time, because today is Marie Curie's birthday. Born on this day in 1867, a pioneer in physics and chemistry, a double Nobel Prize winner, and a woman who changed the course of medicine through her work with radiation. Her breakthroughs still ripple through cancer treatment, imaging, and scientific research today. So, if you needed a dose of inspiration, she's your prescription. Now for something lighter. It's National Hug a Bear Day. Preferably a stuffed one, unless you're trying to test the limits of your health insurance. It's really about comfort, connection, and giving yourself or someone else a moment of warmth. And if comfort comes in the form of food, today is also National Bittersweet Chocolate with Almonds Day. A small reminder that joy often comes in simple bites. Finally, a historical note. November 7th marks anniversaries tied to major political shifts in parts of the world, from the former Soviet Union's October Revolution observance to Tunisia's change of the 7th of November. Not widely celebrated today, but important markers in global history. So whether you're celebrating scientific brilliance, spreading awareness, or just enjoying a little chocolate, November the 7th brings a mix of reflection and sweetness. And that's where we'll leave things for this November 7th. From breakthroughs that help us regain the senses we once lost, to the ongoing recovery in Jamaica after Hurricane Melissa, to the ways tech is reshaping the way we order, eat, and connect. Today was all about the tension between resilience and reinvention. Our commemorations reminded us of the brilliance of Marie Curie, the importance of cancer awareness, and the comfort we find in small joys, whether that's a hug from a familiar bear or a square of bittersweet chocolate with almonds. As always, thank you for starting your morning here. Take care of your health, take care of each other, and remember, even small moments of awareness can shift an entire day. I'm Handel. Be kind, be curious. See you on Monday.